45.
We're live.
Okay.
Oh, I can't hear. Do people join like a Zoom?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Alexis Kirschbaum. I'm the Assistant Principal of Guidance, College Admissions, Pupil Personnel Services, and Security at Staten Island Tech. And along with me today, or this evening, is our College Guidance Counselor, Ms. Liliana Leonforte. And we want to welcome all our guests, our students, our parents, our guardians for joining us tonight. We thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedules to hear all this important information that we're going to share with you. Like I mentioned during Junior Information Night, this is a two-part meeting where part one, Ms. Leonforte is going to discuss what students should be doing from now until the end of summer as they're gearing up to apply to colleges at the onset of their senior year. And then part two of this meeting, which is held pretty soon, pretty early when students come back into school and they are now seniors. And we talk about the operations, meaning how is a student going to communicate to the college office what colleges they're applying to, basically the protocols in which students follow to ensure that all their supporting documentation is sent to the appropriate colleges to which they're applying to. So without any more hesitation, I want to introduce you and thank Ms. Liliana Leonforte for sharing all this information. I do want to mention briefly that our PowerPoint will be emailed and shared tomorrow, as well as the PowerPoint that I'm going to discuss after Ms. Leonforte on the recommendation process. And just in case, because the weather doesn't seem that lovely outside tonight, there is any internet issues and Ms. Leonforte pauses, I will pick up where she left off until she can rejoin. So thank you for your patience as we navigate this. Ms. Leonforte?
Thank you, Ms. Kirschbaum. Good evening, everyone. I can't believe that we're talking to rising seniors right now. It seems that our October Junior Information Night seems so long ago, and now we're poised to get ready to prepare to submit applications. I have a PowerPoint that Ms. Kirschbaum will put up as I'm speaking. And the first, what I want to address at the onset is the situation with deadlines. You are, as students and applicants, you are going to be dealing with two deadlines: the college's application deadline and the deadlines for Staten Island Tech's college office to receive your information in order for us to compile all the different parts of the supporting documents. During the Junior Information Night, I said that the applications have certain parts, and those parts are from the school, the transcript, the courses in progress, which are your senior courses, your letters of recommendation from your teachers, their evaluation form, the school's school report, and the counselor recommendation. Those are, that's the bundle that is sent out to the colleges, and we try, which actually we do, send everything out in one bundle so that when the colleges receive them, it's all there and they're not waiting for pieces of the supporting documents to come in. So that's why it's really critical that the students adhere to the deadlines for giving the college office the information that we need. I don't know if Ms. Kirschbaum is able to put up the first part of the first slide of the PowerPoint, but I will say that going through the deadlines, if you are doing early decision or early action or restrictive early action, and the due date is November 1st, you must have the information, which we're going to start calling, which we call the yellow sheet. The yellow sheet is a document that you will submit to the college office with your list of colleges, how you're going to be applying to those colleges, whether it's regular decision, early action, early decision, or restrictive early action. And so with a November 1st deadline, the students have to inform the college office no later this year, no later than October 4th. I know it's a very short timeline, but that is one of the reasons what I'm going to talk about, what you need to be doing over the summer. So with a November 1st deadline, you need to submit your yellow sheet to the college office electronically, obviously, by October 4th. Regular decision and rolling admissions, college due dates of December 1st through January 1st and beyond. Usually regular decision has a January 1st deadline. You will need to inform the college office of the colleges you are applying to regular decision by October 12th. So these dates you will receive and you will be made aware of. We wanted to give you enough lead time so that you are able to prepare without and I'm sorry, I said October 12th. I believe it's October 11th. You will have enough time to give for us to have enough time to send out the application, the supporting documents. Again, I have to stress the college office's deadlines are not when you need to submit your portion of the applications. Your portion of the application must be submitted before the college deadline, either November 1st, November 15th, December 1st, January 1st, whatever that college's deadline is, your portion has to be submitted prior to that. But you would have informed the college office by the college's office's deadline. We will then have a final, as far as a final deadline of anything, and we will adjust that in the fall of any colleges beyond the January 1st deadline. Okay, let's go through some of the parts. I know that you hopefully you have become acquainted with the Common Application, but I want to go over that with you. So during the summer and not before August 1st. August 1st is the date that the Common Application for your application cycle will go live. You need to create your Common App account, and you will do it on commonapp.org. Understand that the applications fees differ amongst colleges. You need to have the correct fee for each college that you are applying to. So don't think because it is one common application that there is one fee. No, each college has their own fee, and they will differ. The other part that some students forget to do is the supplemental to the Common Application. You need to become aware of what those supplementals for that particular college will be. So if you do not complete the supplemental to that particular college's application, your application will be incomplete. You must sign the FERPA. The FERPA is the Federal Education Rights to Privacy Act, and we are not allowed to submit anything to the colleges unless you've signed it and you indicated that you waive your rights. That's the common application. There are certain schools that do not participate in the Common App. MIT, the University of Maryland, Georgetown, to name just a few. These colleges do not participate in the Common App, so you will need to submit your application through their website. The supporting documents are going to be handled from the college office, even though these colleges might not be on the Common App, but they usually interface with Naviance. Again, you'll please pay your fee or request an institutional fee waiver if you are eligible for that. And you have to enter all of these colleges that you are applying to, both on your Naviance account and on what we're calling the yellow sheet. For those of you who are considering applying to any SUNY schools, the SUNY application can be submitted two ways. It could be submitted through the SUNY website, which is suny.edu. You will get full instructions on that once you log on to their website. There is a worksheet available on their website to help you through this. And there is a $50 fee for each SUNY campus that you are applying to. So if you're applying to Binghamton, it's $50. If you're applying to Albany, it's $100, and so forth. So please make sure that you pay the appropriate application fee corresponding to the number of SUNYs that you are applying to. The other way of applying to SUNY is through the Common Application. Again, you will do the same thing. You will go onto your Common App account. You will enter the SUNY campuses that you are interested in applying to, and you will do the same procedure as you did with the other colleges on your Common Application. Again, paying the application fee. I know I'm stressing that, but believe it or not, your application will not be processed if it is not either paid for or if there's or if there is not a fee waiver submitted. We recommend that if you're applying to SUNY, to please apply through the Common Application. It expedites processing both at the SUNY end and our end. It's much simpler. And I have been told by various SUNY representatives that the processing will go a bit faster because of the way the Common App distributes the supporting documents. So please make sure that if you do decide to apply to a SUNY, that you do apply through the Common Application. CUNYs, the City College of New York. The best advice I can tell you is to please become acquainted with the Cuny application. You need to go on to cuny.edu, admissions/apply. I will have this as part of the PowerPoint that you will receive. There is a $65 application fee, but that entitles you to apply to 6 CUNY campuses. So basically, you're getting 6 campuses for only $65. You will pay through either credit card. Now, CUNY has their own fee waivers, and in order to become eligible, you will need to fill out the lunch form, receiving a list of fee waiver codes for CUNY only, and CUNY does not accept any other fee waiver unless it's their own. So in the fall, you'll get more instruction on that as far as if you are eligible for a Cuny Fee Waiver. Since we are a New York City Department of Education school and each student has an OSIS number, in your application, if you put your OSIS number down, it makes it a lot easier to retrieve your transcript. So CUNY is able to access through your OSIS number your transcript. It expedites the processing immensely, and it just streamlines the process. If not, we will then have to submit it electronically through UAPC, which is the University Application Processing Center. So that delays the processing of your application. So please make certain, and this will all be reiterated again in the fall, but make certain that you do put your OSIS number down when you are applying to CUNY. Also, in light of the COVID situation, many schools have gone test optional, and CUNY is definitely with delaying having students have SAT scores until the 2023 application cycle. So there is no need to submit any SAT or ACT scores because they are not required, nor are they going to be considered. So make certain that you are aware of that, and you don't worry about where do you send your SAT scores if it's for CUNY. All right, so there have been some changes for the for this year's application cycle. The one that's up now is incorrect, so let's remove that, and I will talk about some of the college changes to the application cycle. The main thing is the standardized testing policies. The colleges have gone to test optional. They did last year. They're projecting to do the same this year. So please make sure that when you are applying, if that school is test optional, you can submit if you'd like, but sometimes it's not even going to be considered. So in your research, as you are compiling your list of colleges that you are applying to, you definitely make note of the fact that that particular college might not necessarily want to receive an SAT score. As you all know, there are no longer SAT subject tests, which having interviewed almost the entire junior class, we all were a little happy when we were talking about that in our interviews. So the SAT subject tests are no longer being required nor administered. So please, my best advice to you is, when you're compiling that list of schools, besides the important part of the due date that application is due at the college, you also understand as far as whether that college is requiring or not requiring SAT subject tests. In regards to application fee waivers, students who did take the SAT using a fee waiver, the College Board will give you 4 application fee waivers to 4 colleges, but you will need to look at the directory on the College Board's website to see if that college is participating in the College Board application fee waiver. On the Common App, you're going to be asked if your financial circumstances qualify you for a fee waiver. if you, as I said, if you received an SAT fee waiver, you should indicate that in your response. You can always ask or request a fee waiver through the Common Application. Again, I have to state, SUNY does accept fee waivers other than their own, and Cuny does not. So please bear that in mind. And you will have to see what that college's process is to request a fee waiver. So you will then communicate that. If you cannot apply directly for a fee waiver on the Common Application, you will direct your question to the college office, and then we will see how we will be able to help you out with that. So what I wanted to go over a little bit as far as what you should be doing over the summer. Again, the most important thing to remember is that you need to create a Common App account after August 1st. Please don't run out tomorrow and, create an account, because the Common App that's now is not for your application cycle. Your application cycle of 2021-22 will begin after August 1st. So anytime after August 1st, you could create your app account. It's really imperative that you give enough time over the summer to do a draft of your main essay and your personal statement for the Common Application. You could also look into the current applications for some of the colleges, just to get an idea of what they're looking for as far as an essay prompt. I did send out the prompts to the entire class from the Common App sometime, I think it was the end of February, the beginning of March. If you don't have them, you can always go on to the Common Application, and the prompts will be there. I think the best investment of time for you is for you to really become acquainted. The Common App has, on their website, has wonderful, wonderful resources and tutorials to walk you through creating your account, and a whole host of other wonderful directives that will help you through this application process. When I was interviewing a lot of you, which is still early, but I can understand that a lot of you did not have a true list of the colleges which you are considering applying to. This is the time between now and September to come up with a core group of schools that you will definitely be applying to. And when I say a group of schools, I really suggest that your target schools outweigh your reaches and your safeties, because the target schools are going to be the ones that are going to probably give you the best results. Those reach schools, yes, absolutely. If you want to make an A list and a B list where you prioritize whether you're going to be doing early decision to a school, and then maybe doing an early action, and then your regular decision schools, they still need to be balanced. And by balanced, I mean, if you're going to do when there is a target school that has early action, I would consider prioritizing those. So please make sure that you develop a list and a balanced list before you return to school in September. And that's, as I mentioned, it's critical for you to see, once you make that list and you see what type of applications that has, whether it's an early decision school, whether it's an early action school, whether it's a restrictive early action school. And if that's the case, how does that negate some of either an early action application? So please make that list, then put down what type of application you're going to be submitting, whether it's ED, EA, REA, and the deadlines for those. That will make a lot of this much less stressful. Okay. And then this way you also know, you will know, as I said to you during our interviews, that the ED and the EAs usually come in middle to the third week in December. And again, as we discussed, 3 things can happen: acceptance, denial, and deferral. Acceptance, you're in. Denial, you cannot reapply to that school during this application season. And deferral, you are now being put into the regular applicant pool, and you will be reconsidered in the spring, and you will find out the decision sometime in March, no later than April. So please make sure that you have a balance of schools. Ms. Kirschbaum is going to talk to you about the teacher's recommendation and the process. I hope that everyone has already reached out to their teacher, to 2 teachers at least, and have gotten a commitment that they will be writing for you. If you do decide to do something early, please inform those teachers so that they can prioritize whom they're writing for. College campus visits are wonderful. Things are starting to open up a little bit, but even if they don't, I really would like for you to avail yourself of doing some virtual college visits. I know it's not exactly the same being in person on a campus as seeing it, but this is what our world in the last year has turned into. My suggestion, as I said, make a chart, make a spreadsheet, do whatever is comfortable for you so that you have a list of the colleges that you're applying to, the deadlines, if you're going to do an early, and maybe you could also, and how many recommendations are required, and the fees for each of the colleges along with the deadlines. You'll need to enter all of this on your Naviance account in the colleges I am thinking about section. So there is a lot, and the more you do over the summer, the better off you're going to be in the fall. To leave this, when we come back, it's really a very monumental task to undertake, especially if you're going to be doing something early. I believe the first day of school is September 12th to 13th, if I'm not mistaken. And, you have less than 6 weeks to get everything done. So I wanted you to know about that. And as far as the summer's concerned, I know that you're going to be focusing, hopefully, on getting all these applications, the preparations for the applications over the summer. But I do want you to also be able to be involved in something over the summer, whether it be a class or a volunteering or something that would keep you occupied for a little bit of the summer. And on top of everything else, try to rest, relax, and enjoy what I feel is the best season of the year, which is summer. And I think that's about it. And I believe that ends my presentation. This school information, I get it all the time. What is the school CEB code? What's the class size? These are questions that are on the on the common application and on most applications. So if you need to answer those the class size and the school CEB code. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't know the zip code for the tech, and if you need to give the college office's phone number, it's right on the screen. So I'm available for questions if you want to send me an email to this evening or tomorrow, and I'll attempt to answer as quickly as possible. And again, the more preparation that you do right now, you will be better off in the fall. So with that, I wish you a really good journey as far as this is concerned, and to have a really wonderful, safe, and healthy summer. Thank you very much. Ms. Kirschbaum, if you're ready.
Yep, I'm here. Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen right now. Just give me 1 second, please. I think I'm actually sharing my screen right now. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to speak a little bit about the recommendation process. I'm going to make this larger. We have a certain protocol at Staten Island Tech High School that we follow. It's pretty streamlined. It's clear. It's easy for the students to follow. I will be sharing out this again tomorrow as well. It's basically a 3-step process. So as Ms. Leonforte said, you're going to secure your teacher recommendation letters by either asking your teachers or emailing your teachers, whether you're already have asked them because you are blended or go to school 5 days a week, or if you're fully remote, emailing your teacher, requesting and asking if they would write a letter of recommendation for you. Like Ms. Leonforte said, it's best to secure that recommendation at this time and keep in touch with your teachers, meaning when you do finish these items on Naviance and this process, and you have put in their names in Naviance, which I'm going to discuss with you, send them an email and let them know, hey, how are you? I just want to let you know I added you on Naviance. Because those teachers are writing letters for other students as well. So it's always good to keep politely in touch with your teachers. So obviously you're going to wait for a reply of yes before you move forward with any of these next steps. Once a teacher has agreed to write the letter, the following, I'm sorry, it says 4, but I believe I minimized it to 3 steps to make it even easier. These steps must take place prior to the teacher completing your request. So the teacher will not write the letter until these steps are taken that we're going to review. You should focus on asking 2 teachers, preferably from 10th grade onward. Could definitely be junior year, and some students, depending on what their application status is, will ask a senior teacher. But as Ms. Leonforte said, it's better to secure them now. You want to get 1 letter from either the math or science or engineering, and the other one should be from humanities, which would be from either English, social studies, performing arts, or foreign language. So this is for students because it's going to be in their Naviance account, okay? And if anybody has any trouble logging into Naviance, you can email myself or Ms. Malenfant, and it's very easy for us to get you back on. So in your Naviance account, you're going to click on the colleges tab. That's going to be basically on your home screen. It's on the top right, you click on colleges, and once you get to colleges, you click on colleges home, and you're going to scroll to the bottom left of the page and click on where it says letters of recommendation. That's exactly what the bottom left of the page looks like, what you're looking at right now. So again, you log into Naviance, you're on your home screen, you're going to look at the top right of your home screen, you're going to see the word colleges. You click on the word colleges, it'll bring you down to a drop down. You click on colleges home. Once you're on that page, just scroll down and you'll see on the bottom left where it says letters of recommendation, and then click that. So Naviance has done a little bit of a change, but you must have at least 1 college listed for you to add a request, okay? So as you grow your list of colleges, make sure you return to your recommendation screen so that you could use the drop-down menu of teachers to add the request. They also have a select all option, which you can see right there. Then you will click submit request, okay? You'll see when you're completing this, there'll be a section 3 that says include a personal note to remind your recommender. You don't need to do this. It's not required. We don't want you to do this because we want you to do something else. So just ignore that and click submit request. Once you've done that, you're going to go back to your home screen of Naviance and you're going to be creating a journal entry. The teachers know about this. They have access to your journal entries. And you're going to create a journal entry for your recommending teachers on your Naviance account by clicking on the About Me tab. So if you see the first picture on the top, that's your home screen that you're looking at. You see where it says colleges, that's what I was talking about, but this one's the About Me. You're going to click on that. When you click on the About Me, you're going to see a drop-down menu, and you're going to click on My Stuff. From there comes another drop-down menu, and you click on Journal, okay? So to create a new journal entry, for the type, you just leave as non-applicable. For subject, you're going to be writing the teacher's name. So for example, if Mrs. Brown has agreed to write your letter of recommendation as well as Mr. Tarangelo, you're going to do a journal entry separately for Miss Brown and Mr. Tarangelo. So you're going to make sure that you do one journal entry with the subject line of Miss Brown and then another journal entry with the subject line of Mr. Tarangelo. Make sure it says for share with that you click on teachers, okay? So that allows Mr. Tarangelo or Mrs. Brown to have access to this journal entry. And then on the notes section of the journal entry, you're going to answer the following questions. You're going to explain it in several sentences and use examples of ways that this was portrayed in my class. So, describe an academic accomplishment, a major paper, experiment, and/or project you completed in my course that you are most proud of, and tell why you take pride in it. What kind of learner would you describe yourself as? Which academic setting or assignments in my course made you thrive? What about my course interests you? And list your 3 most distinguishing or most admirable qualities. And the reason why you're creating this journal entry is because you want it to be student specific. So when the school, the college office, when we write your recommendation letter, because every student gets a recommendation letter from the school on their behalf, it is more broad. So it's talking more about your accomplishments and who you are as a student within the school for the last 4 years. When a teacher is writing a recommendation letter about you, it's going to be very specific about what you did in that class, who you were in that class. And that's why the journal entry plays a significant pivotal role in this, because it allows the teacher to, you basically recollect with you of what your qualities were in that class. And then she or he will create a letter that is student specific. Okay, so I'm going to send this out to all the parents and students tomorrow so that you'll have this. So when you are ready to go on to Naviance and take care of these steps, that you'll have it as a resource for you. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of the sharing of my screen. 1 second, please. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to add Miss Leonforte to the screen, and we are going to do a little bit of Q&A based on the questions that were posed in the chat during our broadcast. So I'm just waiting for the questions to be brought up. So Elizabeth Schwartz, thank you, writes, can we have different teachers recommend us for different schools? Example, having a math teacher recommend you for one college and a science teacher recommend you for the rest. I don't know if, Lil, if you want me to answer that, or if you want to answer that.
You can, if you want to, go ahead.
I mean, you could add to it, but to answer your question.
Exactly.
Right. To answer your question, Elizabeth, you're going to want to have one teacher from either the math, science, engineering department. What you can do, Elizabeth, is that there are certain colleges that will only allow you to have one letter of recommendation. So even though in the Naviance system, you have 2 letters of recommendation. Let's say you have, I'm just using examples, you have Miss Polizzi's letter of recommendation and you have Mr. McCullough's recommendation, but you're applying to Binghamton, which only allows for 1 letter of recommendation. In that Naviance screen that I showed you, you can click that you want Mr. McCullough to be the letter of recommendation out of your 2 letters that are going to be sent. Okay, but in terms of equity and fairness and all the amount of letters that the teachers need to write, you should be securing 1 letter from the math, science, engineering department, and then the 1 letter from the humanities department. And I'll leave it to Ms. Leonforte to kind of fill in.
Yes, and what I also want to add to what Ms. Kirschbaum just said, obviously, if you are thinking of going into any sciences or technology, you would, that's why it's always suggested to have 1 from the sciences and 1 from the humanities recommendations from teachers. So I would definitely put down a science or math teacher as your first choice, so that if that's the case that a school is only going to accept 1 letter and some schools limited to 1 letter, that's the letter that would go out.
And do you agree with me, Ms. Leonforte, that there are a few schools that will only accept 1 letter, but the majority of schools will accept 2 or more, but
Correct.
But most schools will say that you have to have at least 1.
Yes, a minimum of, you will see a minimum of 1, a maximum of 2, or some schools will accept 3. But the usually it's 2 letters. But again, if you're down to 1 letter and you are pursuing some type of math or science major, obviously you're going to put your math or science teacher, whomever's writing that letter for you, as your first entry. What is the difference between a personal statement and a Common App essay? The personal statement section, the Common App essay, you are answering a prompt. There are 5 prompts on the Common App. You will choose 1 and you will answer that one. A personal statement is an opportunity for you to present yourself to the reading committee at the college about you, something about you, something that is not coming across in your application, as far as maybe your activity. If there's something that you need to let the college admissions committee know, that's the difference between the personal statement and the Common App essay. They're not the same. People kind of, intertwine them, but they're not. So the personal statement is your opportunity to tell the admissions committee something that is not coming across within your entire application. And that is a short statement, though. It's not as long as the Common App essay.
Mr. Erlewine, I just want to answer a few quick ones on here that I see for you to save time. Our school has a no ranking policy. Oh wow, that's funny that you put that up there, Mr. Erlewine. Our school has a no ranking policy where we do not rank students. And the reason, Ms. Leonforte, do you want to explain the reason why we have a no ranking policy?
Well, obviously, it's the caliber of our students, and to rank them would be an injustice to the students themselves.
Yes, Alex, if it allows you to attach a file and you want to write it in a Word document, if you like that better, feel free to do that. And another, Hermit said there was no share button for the journals. Do we just click teachers? And yes, Naviance, fortunately, or unfortunately, but fortunately, because they try to continue to make things easier, but they're constantly changing their screens and such, and I'm not able to access that screen. I can access a little bit of your screens when I enter as a student, but they do not allow me to access most of that. So if there's not that share button there anymore, then you can just basically click teachers.
As far as supplemental letters of recommendation, again, the Common App limits it to 2 teachers. When you're saying supplemental letters, you're talking possibly about outside recommenders that you can put on Common Application. You'll put their name and their email address, and they will submit. The tech only submits 2 letters of recommendation through Naviance. That is all that we are permitted to do. And that's actually what the colleges want, because they do limit it to 2 as far as teachers are concerned. So please understand that saying a supplemental letter, you want to have, if you're going to have that, it should be someone other than a teacher that you had in the school building. If you were, if you did research with a professor or you interned somewhere, that's totally different. So that's how you would submit on the Common App through the recommenders section in the Common Application.
Okay. Mrs. Fernandez, this is a good question. So we call it the yellow sheet, just so everybody knows. Before pre-COVID, the yellow sheet was exactly what it was. It was a yellow log sheet. And it was set up to basically mimic what the students were putting into Naviance. And I'm going to go into more detail about that in part 2 of why we need that, because we're not prompted when a student changes or does things. But let me just back up a little bit. Because of the year that we had this year and the fact that many students were remote only, and even when students were in school, those that were blended or 5 days a week now, they were podded and their movement was limited. So what we had to do over the summer, last summer, was the college office staff came together and said, how are we going to make this document, how are we going to have it, students have access to it, make it equitable in the sense that, so we created a digital college office. So basically the Google Classroom was the college office for the class of 2021. Right now, presently, we have a digital classroom for the class of 2022. We started that classroom already when we started junior interviews, because we figured, let's start this now, because when we do the meeting in September, I don't know yet if we can have a meeting with the students, senior students and their parents present in the auditorium together. So I have to ensure. So getting back to the yellow sheet, we made it a PDF document that could be filled out on the computer. So every student got their yellow sheet on the Google Classroom. They filled it out and then they submitted it. And by submitting it, it gave the college office staff access to the students' plans on what they were going to do. I have a feeling that when we do come together in September and I review with the students and the parents what the student needs to do to communicate to the college office what their college plans are, that we are going to continue this method, because like I said, I don't know how much movement there's going to be and whether or not we could come together physically. I'm hoping that we will be allowed to have a lot more students visit the college office, because that's what students do. We're just used to that and we love that. Students pop in before they enter the lunchroom or when they have a free period to ask any questions, to clarify anything. And I really want to see that happen again. What we were doing now was we were doing the stream on the college office, and we were having the students split by their last name of the alphabet to email either Miss Donna or Miss Tanner their questions, or if they had very school-specific questions, they would have to then speak to Miss Leonforte. So to answer your question, don't worry, we will make sure they have access to the yellow sheet. How they're going to have access to the yellow sheet is to be determined. But granted, when that second meeting comes, every student will already have access to that yellow sheet, whether it be them walking into the auditorium and me giving them their yellow sheet as they walk in, or by me sharing it on the Google Classroom.
This
it's
is just the colleges do not see the journal entries at all. This is all internal. It's in the student's Naviance account. Nothing is to colleges, such as a journal entry.
Yes, you could apply for more than two. Well, when you say apply, you mean ask more than two teachers. I mean, you can. We don't shine on that because, like I said, there's 331 students who are asking for letters of recommendation. So to be equitable, we want students to ask for 2 letters of recommendation each. Because it makes it equitable for other students when teachers feel overwhelmed and they have too many students on their list. They may say that they can't write anymore and to please ask another teacher. So 2 letters suffice. So that's my answer to that question.
And as I told the students, the suggestion of teachers from both disciplines, I modeled that from a very prestigious college in New England when they had, and so it was always 2 letters. I also remember, speaking with a couple of college counselors, and they say that to the second letter, they don't need to know. That's why it's so important for you. The letters of recommendations are extremely important, but what I keep stressing is your essay and your statement. I answered previously. The personal statement is an opportunity for the student to convey to the admissions people something specific, and to submit, and they do not submit resumes. I have asked students to do resumes because it is an extremely helpful document to have when you're filling out your applications, because you will have everything chronologically. And sometimes there are some applications that will only allow you maybe 10 activities. So you would then have to prioritize which activities you will put in, you will enter on your application.
Yes, a student has to first ask the teacher to agree to write the letter. The teacher is doing this on their own accord. So yes, the student will have to have a conversation and ask the teacher if they would be willing to write a letter of recommendation on their behalf. If that happens, what happens if no teacher wants to write a rec letter for me? I would suggest, if you find yourself having trouble securing a letter of recommendation, that you seek out your guidance counselor, and that you speak with your guidance counselor about whatever issue or whatever the situation is regarding you having challenges securing a letter of recommendation. And the guidance counselor will assist you.
From a teacher outside the school? Are you referring to, let's say, as I said previously, if you did some research with a professor and it's outside of tech? Again, that the only way of having an outside recommendation submitted will be through the recommender section on the Common Application. It would depend on the international college. If the international college participates in the Common Application, and there are quite a few, the process would be the same. If not, then you would have to go through It's colleges and university system. I have the information in the office. They are the ones that they're kind of like the Common Application for European version of schools. So I would definitely have to speak with you in regards to that. But there are quite a few schools that international colleges that are on the Common App.
Okay, so Angie, the counselor recommendation, the majority or most of them are done either by the college guidance counselor or myself. We write on behalf of the students. We represent the school. However, there are situations and circumstances where a student wants their specific grade grade counselor to write the letter on their behalf. Usually the grade GCs will write approximately anywhere from 10 to 12 letters of recommendation if it's a special or specific situation. And if that falls, if that's something that you want to speak to your specific grade counselor with, you can do so. And then they will communicate to the college office that they are writing your letter of recommendation on behalf of the school, and therefore the college guidance counselor will not write the letter.
In regards to the amount of schools, there isn't a limit. The Common Application limits you to 20. So if you have more than 20 schools, you will then have to apply. Schools 21 plus will have to be applied through the particular college's website. So again, if you have a really good balanced list, it doesn't have to be 20 schools. So whatever you're comfortable with. Again, we don't limit the amount, but the Common Application has limited to 20, which I think is a robust amount of schools to apply to.
No, Leva. No, because some students do ask 3 teachers, but like I said, we want to just communicate to students that you are definitely okay if you have 2 letters of recommendation. That you do, it doesn't serve as a super advantage. What Miss Leonforte said is the advantage is that you're asking the teacher in the class where you excel, that the teacher's going to write a nice recommendation for you. You're asking a teacher a science teacher, if you're looking to go to a science specific program, things of that nature. That's really what matters. It's not about, the more letters of recommendation I have, the more, the college, the package that you present to the college is a lot more than just, the teacher's letters of recommendation. But you don't need to retract one.
You can find that on Naviance. There is a historical data of where our students have applied and have been accepted. So you could, I believe, if you have an analytics tab, you could find it there. If not, you could look at on Naviance. You could look at the college, click on the college, and it will tell you for, I think, the last 4 or 5 years, the number of admits and acceptances.
Lauren, that'll be on your yellow sheet.
Okay. Also, schools such special programs. Sophie Davis has their own application because you apply through Cuny, through the Cuny application to Sophie Davis, to Brooklyn BAMD program, any Cuny Macaulay honors. Those are all Cuny applications that you would find on and how to apply to those programs. the BUMD program, when you go into, you can apply through the Common App. The BUMD program, you will go into BU, and then it will give you the specific programs. Okay.
But you still
So
need to add
BU,
that
yes.
information. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Lil. You still need to add that information on Naviance, okay? And on your yellow sheet. You need to because that needs to be communicated, your whole plan, whatever colleges you're applying to. So think of Naviance as the electronic common app system, right? So if these schools don't go through the common app, we as a school, we're not going to send it digitally through Naviance. You're going to be doing your own application on their own site, but you're still going to be communicating to us that this is your intention of applying to these schools.
Because also understand with the Sophie Davis and any of those specific programs, they have different deadlines. So you need to be aware of those deadlines also. So you need to communicate to us what those deadlines are. Do you want to take that, Ms.? Okay, what we have said with the deadlines that we've established for the college office, for you to let the college office know, is we can then guarantee that we will have sufficient amount of time to submit everything to meet the college's deadline. Okay, if you add more colleges, let's say December 1st or December 2nd, you need to understand we break for the holiday break on December 23rd. If it's a January 1st deadline, we will not be in school to process and submit your supporting documents. Can you add? Yes. Will we submit the documents? Yes, but probably you're risking that that your supporting documents are not going to get processed until after we return on January 2nd. So yes, go ahead, apply. I'm not saying not to, but if you don't give the college office sufficient amount of time to submit the supporting documents, we can't guarantee that we can have that out prior to, let's say, if it's a January 1st deadline. That's why it's crucial for you to have a game plan in place when you come back in September and you know where you're applying. Can you make changes? Absolutely. Can you decide not to apply to a college? Of course. Can you add? Yes. But there is a certain time frame that we then can't physically get that out. If you're, we've had students come in the night, and that's why we needed everything on Naviance. They decided to apply the night before the deadline and then come in the day of the deadline and expect that we could send out those supporting documents. So we have to work together on this, and we've given you, I believe, a fair amount of time for you to prepare and get ready. And are there certain circumstances? Absolutely. And we'll deal with those on a case-by-case basis. But I will never tell someone not to apply to a school. Just make sure that you submit your application prior to the deadline. No. I have been told over and over again that if they are test optional, Cuny has said they do not require, nor will they consider SAT scores. I would check the individual colleges that you're applying to and question their test optional policy and abide by that. You can send the scores if you want to. And basically, in the last couple of years, colleges are not asking for official scores. They're asking for self-reported scores. And the only time that they need the official scores from the College Board is when you've been accepted and you decided to matriculate at that school. So I wouldn't be worried so much. You can enter your scores on your Common Application. You can self-report them. And then depending on what the decision is, and if you decide to go to that particular college, they might ask you for your SAT scores. Deadline. Early decision 1 is usually November 1st. Early decision 2 is usually around January 1st. But it's still the same agreement, a binding agreement that you're making with the school that has early decision 1 and early decision 2. Stevens has early decision 2. Stevens Institute of Technology has early decision 2. It's binding also. So that's the difference between ED1 and ED2, just the deadline.
They're already unweighted. Are averages reported as numerical grades, or is there any way we can convert them to unweighted GPAs? Your GPA is already unweighted. So they know that it's unweighted because when we fill out a document that all the colleges see, right? Your Common App school form, we indicate that the numerical grade on your transcript is already unweighted. Interestingly enough, I think Ms. Leonforte will agree, we had found out years ago when GPAs were weighted, we had found out that as soon as they got to the colleges, they stripped them down and unweighted them anyway. But they're already unweighted, your GPAs. So, and they are reported as numerical grades because they're, your numerical grade is on your transcript. So, yeah. So, colleges will see your GPA of your final GPA of your junior year in your initial transcript. They will see your GPA after that includes freshman year up until the fall semester of senior year for your mid-year transcript. And then they're going to see your,
I'm sorry, Ms. Kirschbaum. It's up to from freshman to the end of junior year
for initial
that the transcripts go out, right?
Yeah.
And then mid-year grades are the first half of your senior year.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Oh, it's okay.
Thank you.
And the final transcript would be your GPA at June of your senior year, which would include all your grades from your 4 years of high school.
My personal favorite is 2. I believe that taking 3 is kind of conveying a message, a subliminal message of saying that if I take this type of test often enough, I can get better at it. So, but that's up to you. Yes, Common App and Coalition. Absolutely. As you can tell, Coalition is not interfaced with Naviance. It opens up a whole new venue of submitting applications. So yes, absolutely. Common App and Coalition have nothing to do with each other. Understand the Common App has over 900 colleges that are participating in it, and the Coalition has maybe about 100 and something colleges. So I don't know why you would want to at this point until the Coalition has been around about 5 to 6 years, and it has not really taken off as well. So I don't know why you would, fragment your energies as far as doing some of the colleges on the Common App and some on the Coalition. But that's, that's a personal preference. It will delay a little bit the processing because, as I said, Common App and Naviance are so interfaced together that they work seamlessly. Okay, so within the interviews, I've answered some of this question several times. So look at, assess yourself as far as your GPA is concerned. And you could, if you wanted to, and if you've taken an SAT, have those two figures, and then look at the school that you are applying to. And if you fall within the range of the acceptance that school has, accepted applicants, that is a target school. If you supersede their acceptance criteria as far as GPA, and possibly if you look back at their SAT scores, what the average SAT scores, and you supersede those, that's a safety for you. Also, the percentage of applicants that are accepted to a school. The higher percentage, obviously, it's going to be safety, and so forth.
No, Aisha, that's in addition. So every student gets a school letter of recommendation, a school supporting letter, and then in addition, your 2 teacher letters of recommendation. So would I be unable to submit a letter? No, you will be. And to answer the next question in reference to the guidance counselor recommendation letter, Mr. If you see that one. So what's going to happen is students are going to receive, and CC to the parents will receive an email from me at the end of June. And it's going to be instructions on what they need to do so that our school could write a letter on their behalf. So, and you will see that email from me probably annoyingly about 4 or 5 times, because it's so important that it gets done by the students. So, I'll say like request number 1, please disregard if already completed, request number 2. So students will be well aware of what they need to do on their end so that we can get that letter of, because that's like a package. Students need that letter. It comes together with the Common App school form. It's like a package that's digitally sent to each of the schools that they're applying to. So they don't, to answer your question, the only specific thing they need to do is follow the directions in the email that's sent by me, which they'll receive at the end of June, because, I want them to kind of finish out the school year. And then in the summertime, it's not a difficult task, but at least then they could do it over the summer. You don't have a weighted GPA. Your GPA is what is on your transcript right now. So, what is a weighted GPA? A weighted GPA means that there's certain classes that are weighted more credits than other classes. But that does not exist in our school. So you don't have to worry about that, Alex.
If you go on to the Common Application, as I said, and you familiarize yourself with it, it will tell you where you can enter your college essay on the Common App. I really suggest that everyone take a little bit of time and go through the Common Application. As I said, it's really very, user friendly, and they have wonderful tutorials that will answer any of your questions. Again, reaches are schools that have an extremely low acceptance rate, probably in the single digits. I would say those would be your reach schools, and the target schools obviously have they have a broader range as far as whom they accept. Now, if you're doing it on the Common Application, colleges do not see which other colleges you are applying to. Yes, they can retract, because this is what we're facing now in the wonderful month of June with our seniors. At the end of the year, I send out what is known as the final transcript and the final report. And if there is any deviation as far as the GPAs that were sent initially, if there is a huge deviation, schools have either put students on academic probation or have rescinded their offer of admission. And unfortunately, that happens sometime in July. So I always tell the seniors, which will be you, in the fall, I say, it's not over until it's over, and it's not over until the final report goes out and your GPAs have remained constant. So
Colleges,
they could
yeah.
also retract offer of scholarships too. So understand
Also,
that you can be accepted.
based on your
Pardon?
behavior, based on your behavior and actions on social media, can also
Correct.
lead to an issue. If anybody
Correct.
reports to the college anything that you've done that's obscene, I'm just saying there has been stories in the news recently where students have been reported for posting or doing something on the internet, and then the college has decided that we don't want this individual on our campus, that they don't represent what our college is about, and so they can rescind their decision as well.
And no, colleges do not see, because you're the one that controls sending the scores to the colleges. So no. It's a source. You know, see how you feel once you've done the exercise there, and see what the results are. No, colleges cannot see if you applied to other colleges. I think we hit the 9 o'clock mark. You will probably have to roll it over as far as the Common App, this Common App question is concerned. You'll probably have to roll it over. It's all contingent on each college. So you won't be sending AP scores until, unless they're asked for, but they will see what you did in the class with the class grade on your APs. Ms. Kirschbaum, I think I'm lost.
Oh, I am muted. So, Harmeet, to answer your question, in September, we will be holding a financial aid information night. To be determined what format we hold that in, but in September is when we do that. I hope everyone heard that.
Okay, what I just want to say real quickly, as far as that's concerned, FAFSA cannot be filled out before October 1st. That's when the FAFSA for your year will become live. Okay, so you can go on and look at what the FAFSA looks like. But as Mr. Kirschbaum said, there's going to be a financial aid information session in September. And yes, you will be told by the colleges, if you're applying early, when they expect to have the FAFSA submitted. And that usually will be a deadline of December 1st, that the colleges have to have your FAFSA so that they can compile a financial award letter with an admissions letter.
Yes, you can ask an English teacher that you've had previously, or that you currently have when you completed your personal statement or college essay. What we like to do is we like to ask students, though, don't take your essay, bring it to Mrs. Callan, and then also bring it to Miss Federico. Just like the letters of recommendation, the English teachers are proofing many different students' college essays. So, by all means, you may ask an English teacher to proof your essay and personal statement.
May I just add, as far as that's concerned, I would highly suggest that you have a peer, one of your peers, a friend that you trust to look at your essay, and then another adult, and then see if you go to your teacher as far as reading your essay. And that's it. Don't ask 50 friends, 10 adults. Okay? Less is more.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Erlenwine. So recording
Thank
of this
you, Mr.
event is
Erlenwine.
going to post immediately. Again, I know it's late. I thank you. It's a team effort, to get all of you to the colleges that you want to attend. So I just ask that you stay close to us and that you follow any directives that have to do with this. If you have not joined the Google Classroom and you need the code, or your friend, the code can be given to you by one of your classmates. If not, email me. If you have any trouble getting on Naviance, let me know. Email me. Miss Leonforte and myself will send out these PowerPoints that we shared this evening to all of you, as well as the parents. And remember, please, please, please attend part 2. We will communicate the date in September. That's really important that you attend that, because that is the nuts and bolts of how we're going to get those the supporting documents to the colleges. Okay. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep.
Have a great summer.
Great night. Yep. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.